Like, I don't give a fuck. Welcome to Depths of Gaming Episode 40.
Greetings, one. Greetings, all. Come right up.
Episto 40.
Yes.
We're that far.
We already 41 weeks into the show. That's a lot of weeks.
I think we're getting suspiciously close to like year territory.
Yeah.
Like a halfway there, something like that. Because it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Not that our subscriber count would betray that.
Hey, we're not doing this for subscribers. We're doing this because we want to have some fun.
Yeah, we're not monetized, by the way. We don't even if we did get subscribers and clicks, we don't make money. Like,
yeah, we kind of would have to kind of pay people in order to get advertisements on our show.
Yeah. Well, no, they actually changed it so that you have to have a ton of views before they let you monetize your content now because of the adpocalypse.
I see.
Yeah, YouTube monetization isn't really a thing anymore. Which is funny because they made it sound like it could be a thing, like, oh, we can just become YouTubers, but that is not at all what happened. Like,
yeah, I believe that
like 30 people.
Yeah, the most profitable YouTube ever was in its first 5 years.
Yeah.
And it went downhill from there.
It was a bubble. Like Blip had a bubble, Blip TV had a bubble, and that collapsed.
Well, I wouldn't call it a bubble.
Huh.
I would more call it like a deflating turd.
Uh-huh.
Yes. There's like this fart stuck underneath the layer of shit, and it slowly lets off the gas.
Okay, Total War Arena has announced the Immortals system for their open beta transition. The open beta transition is happening eventually. We don't know. They refuse to tell us. Could happen next month. It could happen the month after that. We don't know. All we do know is that every victory you get in the closed beta period is going to count for some XP and some silver. You can kind of make it out that for 100 victories, you get 50,000 silver and 65,000 XP. Like, my account only has, 100-ish XP in it. So you get more than you got from playing, essentially.
Ooh, fancy. This is basically the way they are trying to reward all the beta players, right?
Well, yes and no, because from a ringmaster perspective, a wipe is problematic because it throws your matchmaking completely out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
So, the way to fix that is to give people huge chunks of XP so that they can go to any tier they want to play. But how do you balance that? How do you restrict who gets to join what tiers immediately? Well, obviously, you do something like this. You make it based off victories. That way, the people who would logically be in tier 10 can get to tier 10.
Ah, fancy. So sounds like they thought this through.
Yes, they did. And this is something that's become very, very apparent from Wargaming and Creative Assembly in the handling of Total War Arena is time and patience. They have not made a move out of turn. They refuse to.
I see.
This game has been on the hush hush for a very long time, and then they finally lifted the NDA a while ago, and now people, of course, know more about it. They're starting to get excited.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait until the open beta, personally, because that's going to be a really fun period. We're going to get
the game
more players.
looks incredibly good, too.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it's like a Total War game where you can play just skirmishes all the time. And that's kind of what I always wanted out of a Total War game. Because it's sort of a puzzle in a way, because you're given 9 other teammates who can have any combination of units.
Yeah. And you have to like play together in order to like win.
Yes, teamwork is critical. You cannot get very far without teamwork. Even in roles that some would argue require no teamwork, require teamwork. Like sniping with siege equipment. You can't do that alone. You're going to get messed up. That's why the meta is focused around sequestering catapults into little kill zones, so that they're harder to take out. Otherwise, cavalry can run up to it and smash it apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean smash it apart. Cavalry can rear charge and destroy certain units in seconds. It's amazing. They ride in, stab everyone right out.
Well, that's what they are meant to do, right?
Well, yeah, that's cavalry. That's what they do. People think a lot of things about cavalry, but they forget about hit and run tactics. What they're for.
Yeah, if you had hussars, however, you could pretty much do anything.
Yeah, hussars were shock cavalry that were able to do almost anything. They were really fucking good.
Yeah. First of all, you have this very heavily armored horse, right? That is running at you at full speed.
Yeah.
Rams basically into you, breaking your spears in half. Then you have a soldier on top of that horse that has not only a lance.
Oh, you're
also
talking about the Polish winged hussars. I thought you were talking about Napoleonic hussars. I was like, yeah.
No, fuck those.
Yeah, fuck them, apparently. But, yeah, the Polish winged hussars were really fucking powerful because, as he mentioned, the horse was armored, the guy was wearing plate, he had a lance, and he had spears just in case.
And he had 2 swords and a dagger, I believe.
Yeah, they gave him a lot of weaponry. The kind of stupid French unit that I would love is they're like chevaliers or something like that. It's a knight on horseback on an armored horse that has 2 flintlocks.
Huh.
And so he peppers the enemy in bullets like a horse archer, then he rides away.
Ah, fancy that.
Yeah. The reason we don't hear about them is because they probably weren't that effective.
And they were pussies.
Well, that and we don't like the French.
They did not engage in glorious melee.
I give snipers for shit like that all the time. If you ever want to arbitrarily piss off like a ranged player, just keep telling them you're a coward for not coming into melee. Like, but I don't do that.
I don't care. Come here to melee with me. It's honorable battle.
So, the creator of Pepe the Frog has been continuing his crusade against people that he feels are not worthy of spreading the word of Pepe.
No, the Pepe needs to be copyrighted and needs to be protected.
And the reason he's doing that is because the alt-right has kind of latched to it. People, well,
They were making memes with him and with like Hitler.
Yeah, like what we mean is they were making like Hitler Nazi collages with Pepe having a Hitler stash, like,
and they were making a lot of collages with Trump as well.
Yes.
So technically, Trump is not a Nazi, but
isn't he like a hate symbol at this point? If Pepe is a hate symbol, isn't he a hate symbol?
At this point, everything is a hate symbol. I read an article
that
that stated that male erection is violent and abusive. So the only way to have sex with a man that is not abusive is with a flaccid cock. I believe that was written in Time magazine too. So not something obscure, but you get the idea. There are people out there that have very weird ideas about what's hateful and abusive.
Yeah, and then they write these crazy op-eds pretending like it's a thing. Like they voice their opinion on people to change culture. Like that's what that is trying to do. They're trying to say, hey, this is how it should be. And that's kind of why the Pepe guy is fighting back, because he does not want his frog to be a symbol of hatred. He does not like that. So he retained a lawyer, and he asked Steam, like, hey, remove these emoticons, and they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, however, that one I get, because Pepe is his copyrighted work, right? And the Steam was using it like point blank, right? Without any kind of they didn't bought Pepe. Yeah, they didn't bought it. They didn't do anything creatively, changed it, remix it. No, they just plastered it on as an emoticon. Well, and I get the reason why you would want to.
That was the developer of the game doing that. Like they choose what to include as emoticons and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Steam was like, yeah, we'll do that right away, because they did not want anything to do with this.
Yes.
So moving on, the Predator has shown up in a Tom Clancy game.
We fancy that.
I cannot get over how those work. One of these things does not belong, is not like the other. The Predator is in a Tom Clancy game.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because people with guns.
Oh, that's why he's dead.
Oh.
Yeah, he apparently died 4 years ago in October.
Yeah, so now it makes sense.
Okay.
Now, the question is, can they posthumously brand things by saying, "Oh, it's Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six now"?
Well,
Because he has no input into that anymore.
Well, here's the thing: is at this point it's like a brand name, right?
Yeah,
like it's the Tom Clancy line of books. It's the Tom Clancy inspired series of games.
Yeah, but that's a problem, right? Because
no, because he was rich. He has an estate. He has people that succeeded him and are managing his estate.
Oh,
it's the same way that there are still Jimi Hendrix guitars. There's still Jimi Hendrix stuff. It comes out all the time, and Jimi Hendrix, as you know, is quite dead.
Is he? Or is he still playing reggae in heaven?
Yeah.
He's still playing reggae in heaven.
Well, it's more like jazz rock, but
Yeah, I know nothing about music.
That is apparent. So it's not unheard of for this kind of thing to happen, and it's also not unheard of for them to just stick random popular characters in video games dead by daylight. It's funny. It really is.
Yeah, I wonder how it's going to work, because you have the let's return to the Tom Clancy's thing. You have a technologically advanced alien fighting against a Spec Ops guy, right? Something like that.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Tom Clancy was a military fiction writer.
Yeah. I guess aliens are like canon now with human history.
I guess.
When did that happen? I guess that the
no. I mean,
I guess the Predator license is so like adhesive that it kind of attaches itself to every continuity in fiction.
Oh well, this kind of hurts my my understanding of Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy, he was definitely a Republican. Oh, okay. I'm not really getting much of any information here about Tom Clancy and aliens, but I have a feeling like he didn't believe in aliens. Because he wrote military fiction books, he wrote military non-fiction books. He was obsessed with the military.
Yeah, I would guess he had a hard-on simply because military is kind of cool.
Well, it makes sense. He grew up after World War II, so the American exceptionalism was rampant.
Ah, yes, this American exceptionalism.
Because we saved the world from Hitler, don't you know?
Right, you saved the world, every single country from Hitler. Yeah,
every single one.
Yes, there certainly wasn't any country that was sold to Soviets after that.
Single-handedly.
Yes, no one else helped
at all. Yeah, I know. I really pity people that believe that. No, it was actually a French chick in a theater. No, So I don't know anything about how the Predator acts in this game, but I would assume he acts just like he would in the movies. I mean, we can see in this screenshot here that he has his claws, he has his Folda staff, he's got his plasma caster, like
he has probably his invisibility, which kind of gives him an edge.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Predator always could cloak. That was always something he could do. And also they put Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in there because I guess he needed a little more money.
I miss Arnie. He's awesome.
Do you, though? Do you?
Yes, I miss him. As an actor, as a young actor with big bulging muscles and huge biceps.
Oh, well, yeah.
Toting around gigantic guns and shooting at people. That was fun. I want fun in my movies. We don't have fun anymore. Like the over-the-top fun.
They're trying. So Mount Your Friends 3D has been announced for 2018.
Ah, it's that game with flopping dicks.
It's the flopping dick simulator. Yes, it is.
You're supposed to build a gigantic tower out of people?
Yes, it all starts with a goat, and then you climb the goat, and then you climb the guy that climbed the goat, and then you climb the guy that climbed the goat, and then you climb the guy that climbed the guy that climbed the guy that climbed the goat, and it goes on and on until it falls over.
I see. It must be a lot of fun.
It is possibly the best game of in Steam. Like,
I love those kind of random games that are like co-op or Getting Over It, or in
which,
this
by
case,
the way, Quap was the same guy.
Yeah. It's amazing how much you can do with a game that is not something
buttons.
standard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or no, 4 buttons.
In Getting Over It, you don't have any buttons.
Yeah, well, no, you don't. You just have your mouse.
Yeah, exactly. That's fun.
No, by the 4 buttons, I meant Quap.
Yes.
And Quap is an amazingly fun game for only using 4 buttons.
Yeah, interesting thing about Quap, it's actually a very good game to train AI on.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Quap is Mount Your Friends 3D is coming out. You should purchase it. Then you should purchase it for your friends. Then you should purchase it for your mother. Then you should cancel your credit card before it gets to your mother. And now on to answers that nobody wanted.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah, like I said, there wasn't really much to talk about today.
Yeah, it was kind of slow of a week because lately there was so much stuff around the big corporations just fucking up. Because once corporations are fucking up, it's kind of like this cavalcade of stupid that's running at you.
Yeah, because it's like they're crawling through a minefield and they hit one and then they hit another and then.
They hit one, then they get ripped into shreds, and every place that their piece of their meat falls on is another explosion.
Yeah, it's bad. So
I'm horrible.
X Effect Savant writes, just started D&D. The role-playing bores me. Advice/thoughts. I just joined a game that...
If role-playing bores you in a role-playing game, then find a different game.
I just joined a group that plays once a week for 5 to 6 hours. I find combat to be the most enjoyable part, but unfortunately for us, it's just a small portion of the game. The rest is RP and downtime, and I always feel like wanting to fall asleep whenever the game gets to that point. I hardly ever have anything to offer during the RPs, nor do I have an interest in it. When I played online RPGs, I never cared once about the story. I only played them for the in-game mechanics and combat. We found our problem. And that seems to be the same for D&D. I want to keep joining, though. This is one of the few opportunities I get to be social, and D&D seems like it'd be a great activity for me to break out of my shell, as I'm quiet as fuck IRL, but I don't really know how to deal with the boredom. There's a couple of people in the group who usually have their cell phones out, and I feel like wanting to do the same, but upon research I found DMs may find it disrespectful or may take it away from other people's experiences. Or it may take away. So I don't really think that's a feasible solution. I don't want to take any chances in disrespecting the group because, well, they treated me with a lot of respect. I'd hate to end up deciding... I know, he wrote a fucking novel. I'd hate to end up deciding...
He's still going?
Yes! I'd hate to end up deciding to leave the group just because the RP bores me. In fact, there's a lot of other things that bore me.
He writes a lot.
I know, right? I've been dealing with a loss of interest imparted by depression, and that's been around for a couple of years. If I don't give this a chance, then chances are I'd end up doing the same thing for anyone else. But, I wish there was more combat or the sessions were shorter. But this group I have for now, which I feel quite collected to, everyone seems friendly, and there's always a few mates I already know there. And I need advice or thoughts of how to make the best of it. How long until D&D becomes more interesting? Have you found D&D to be boring but now enjoy it?
Okay, first of all...
Now it's done.
You have potential to be a great role player. Use it. Put your mind into the world of the D&D and express yourself, because that's basically what roleplay is. It's basically a theater. You're playing a role, and you're trying to create atmosphere, not just for yourself but for everybody around you. Just try to put all that effort that you put into writing this article, this book that you just now
micro
posted,
essay,
and use it to basically create more atmosphere in your game, to build your character. Because from what I've seen, you have the potential, right? Just make a connection with your character. Your character is not just a bunch of numbers on a spreadsheet. Think of that character as a living person that you impersonate in order to create something else.
If you're able to rate this much about this subject, this succinctly and with this much detail, all you have to do is put your head in another person's shoes that you created.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of write from their perspective. Verbally write if that helps you. But you clearly have potential. Because it's really about when it clicks. Sometimes it doesn't click right away. It happens. It's nothing wrong with you. It's nothing wrong with the game. It's just sometimes it doesn't click.
Yeah, by the way, it's called a role-playing game, right? It's a role-play before it's a game. You have to realize that.
Well, yeah, there's that blurb where he says, I play online RPGs, and I never cared once about the story. Well, there is our problem. That is a fundamentally different thing. In those worlds, it's okay if you don't care about the story, because it doesn't actually... You don't have any agency. You're just there.
Yeah, precisely. In online multiplayer games like MMOs, you don't really have that much of an impact on the story, because the story is not about you.
Yeah,
right?
It's not.
But in terms of D&D and Shadowrun and other RPGs, pen and paper RPGs, the story is about you. You are part of it, and you have to engage, because otherwise it's just you roll the die a couple of times and then you get bored for 4 hours. I have the same thing, because sometimes the story is not focused around my character, and I have to just float around and be there for all other characters. However, sometimes the story does revolve around me and Dr. Mengele, and then I have to step in and butcher a couple of people. And this is fun, right? Creating an interesting character is fun. It's part of the game.
It is. It is. There's way too much, because the thing about 4th edition is it worried way too much about combat, and so people enjoyed it because they didn't have to think too much. They could just fight. And that's great for a combat simulator, but that's not quite what we're doing here in D&D. It's about the stories, the characters, and combat happens, but it's not the end. It's not the beginning. It's not everything. I mean, fighting is important, but it's not. It's not critical.
Yeah, I get the reason why the fight in a D&D is appealing, because there's a round, right? There's an interaction. Everybody gets a turn, and everybody does damage. Everybody takes part in it. And roleplay is not like that. In roleplay requires you to take initiative. Right, because during the battle you are given the initiative, you roll for it, but in roleplay you have to take the initiative. You have to elaborate, you have to create dialogue, you have to create descriptions, you have to engage that part of your brain that is currently laying dormant, and that you awaken that part of your brain when you wrote this question to Reddit, right? So try to awaken that part during roleplay, and you will see that the entire experience has changed.
Absolutely. Like, some people keep a journal. Like, Rolo T used to. He would write a journal after his games, and he would explain who he ran into, what he did, and so that was his outlet. That helped him get into the character, I guess. So really, it's whatever helps. Because yeah, you should leave the game if you're not having fun, but you shouldn't knee-jerk it.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is give it the good old college try. If you don't feel like, if you enjoy the game but not one part of it, then we just have to come with a concession of how we can enjoy that other part of it. Sometimes it comes with just like thinking about what kind of character would I like this character to be like, and you find when you're playing as that character, you'll start acting like how you want that character to act. For instance, I play a noble in that the game that Jahith was referencing, and I've decided she is a shitty boss.
Flaws make for interesting characters. Being a shitty boss, being an incompetent shooter, being a bloodthirsty medic.
Yeah.
All the flaws create something unique about the character and make it interesting, make it dynamic, make it organic and relatable.
Absolutely, and that's been something very important in 5th edition. Is that even though you might have 3 people in the group that are fighters, each one might be different. For instance, in my offline group, there's a fighter who uses a bow quite often, and he still uses like double strike and stuff like that, but he's a ranged fighter, and that sort of thing. But that's our show. And
thank you, everybody.
Thank
you
for very much for tuning in to Depths of Gaming.